Hey, what's up, dudes? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Dead by Daylight video. Today we have the newest developer update with changes to the Cenobite from PTB to Live, skill-based matchmaking, and even the ranks that we saw in the PTB, being the Ash all the way to Iridescent. We're going to be breaking down everything in this developer update, and I'll be giving my opinions on it, so this might be a little bit longer of a video. I hope you guys will stick around, though. We'll also be discussing it further when I go live a little bit later today, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you have your notifications on to know when that happens. And also, if you were updated, informed, or entertained, please consider dropping a like on this video. It means a lot to me and it helps out the video a ton with visibility. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this. So we're going to start where the update starts itself, and that is skill-based matchmaking. Now, skill-based matchmaking has been a topic of contention around the community for a while now. Some people want it, some people absolutely hate it, but we did see it in the PTB and it did actually go live there for a little bit on live servers. But this says, for a while now, we've been running tests for the skill-based matchmaking system, which uses ratings to match you with other players rather than ranks. The most recent test exceeded our expectations, and we'll be rolling out the system indefinitely with the 5.2.0 update. They say the most recent skill-based matchmaking test resulted in fairer matches across the board for players of all skill levels, especially low to mid-tier skill players. High skill players would see the most variance in their matches due to the lower number of players with high ratings, though their matches would still be more consistent compared to the rank-based matchmaking. During peak hours, 99% of the matches formed were what we considered reasonably balanced, with your odds of escaping or killing a survivor varying within the plus-minus 25% of the average. Better yet, 75% of the matches fell within a, I'm assuming that means give or take 5% chance. This is a huge step up from the ranked-based matchmaking, where 99% of the matches saw a 45% variation and 75% of matches saw a 25% variation. Additionally, while the matches were fair, matchmaking times remained the same. Skill-based matchmaking will also allow us to collect more detailed statistics for our design team to work with, e.g. seeing how a perk or power performs among the top 5% of players. This data will allow us to make more meaningful tweaks and balance decisions in the future. So I'm actually all for this. I did not expect it to be rolling out with the 5.2.0 update. That is actually crazy to me, so that means we are getting indefinite skill-based matchmaking when Pinhead drops in 5 days, which I'm actually for it. When I did play in the PTB and when the skill-based matchmaking was live on live, it felt good to me. It felt like I was able to go into matches with newer killers that I haven't gotten to play a whole lot, so I don't have a whole lot of experience with, and I was able to actually learn the character and not get stomped by a 4-man survive with friends with 4 clickies and a key who were just boosted to all hell. And I know that math doesn't make much sense with 4 clickies and a key, but they always find a way. But moving on, we do have the rank changes and rewards, and this was actually the most confusing thing from the PTB because I couldn't find it spelled out anywhere, and I was being asked a million times about it. So it says, you may be wondering, with skill-based matchmaking enabled full-time, what will happen to ranks? And they say ranks will become grades and feature all new icons ranging from Ash to Iridescent. You can increase your grade by earning pips just like before, though there's now a limit to how many pips you can lose. On the 13th of each month, grades reset to Ash 4, the lowest grade, and you'll receive up to 250,000 blood points depending on how far you've managed to climb. You'll be rewarded for each role separately, so playing both sides can reap double the rewards. I actually think that's really good. I think that's really interesting. I know a lot of people say it's way too easy to get blood points right now, but I actually kind of disagree, and the fact that we've never really been rewarded for our rank other than, you know, dick measuring, I guess, to where you can be like, oh, I'm a rank 1 killer and survivor. Look at that, dude. Eat me. I feel like it's never really been beneficial. Rank has never really done anything for you other than being, you know, you can show how big you are, I guess. But having a blood point reward tied to it is really good in my opinion, because I feel like in certain cases it can be a little bit difficult to earn blood points, especially on Survivor. So to help out a little bit with just playing the game and leveling up and ranking up, getting a nice little blood point reward for all of your work sounds like a nice little addition. Now we're to the one that you're probably all wondering about and all questioning, the Cenobite changes from the PTB. It says, we're thrilled to see so much excitement for the Cenobite on the player test build, and we've been watching and reading for feedback very closely. That said, we've made some changes between the PTB and the release. Please note that this is by no means final. We'll continue to monitor his performance as we do with all new killers and do some fine-tuning once everything is settled. First, we polished the way chains spawn to make them perform more consistently. We fixed an issue which would cause chains to spawn behind obstacles and corners and immediately break as soon as they would connect. Additionally, if a chain fails to spawn, i.e. there is no suitable place to spawn a chain, the system will now attempt to spawn another chain much sooner. Finally, if a chain is broken by the environment or the Cenobite himself, a new chain will spawn considerably faster than before. These changes will make chains much more effective in tight areas with lots of obstacles. They say we've also simplified the way chain hunt works. On the PTB, the number of chains that spawn during the hunt would depend on the number of survivors remaining. Instead, the hunt will now always spawn a cluster of 3 chains, with each chain appearing 3 seconds apart, with an increasing interval between clusters based on the remaining survivors. This will keep the hunt feeling meaningful without getting out of hand as survivors die. Finally, deciding when to solve the lament configuration is something we want to leave up to you, but keeping it forever shouldn't be ideal. That is a very good thing. In the PTB, the survivor carrying the box would have a chain spawn and attempt to latch on them every few seconds while they were interacting with something. This would slow your progress down, but could be a worthwhile trade-off for preventing chain hunts entirely. We're changing the lament configuration to only pause the timers of the survivors, but not the carrier. This means if the person holding the box neglects it for too long, a chain hunt will start for them only. This chain hunt is in addition to the occasional chains that spawn while interacting with something, making it very difficult to ignore. So it's not confusing in the way that it spells everything out for you and exactly what it's doing, but it is confusing of whether it's actually going to be useful or not. I know the most annoying games that I had in the PTB were when a survivor would actually get the box and then just run around with it the entire match. And them actually getting a chain hunt on themselves sounds decent, but if they get a chain hunt on themselves, couldn't they just press mouse 1 on the box and immediately cancel it out? Which was a major problem for me in the PTB itself, because you didn't actually have to solve the lament configuration in the PTB. All you had to do was press the button. It would give Pinhead a notification, but he wouldn't be able to teleport, and the chain hunt would be completely drained. There would be no progress to it for any of the survivors, so I'm not entirely sure what that's going to do. Other changes made to Pinhead are tweak gateway placement to be easier on maps with multiple floors. This will prevent cases where you'll look ever so slightly down and end up accidentally placing your gateway on the floor below. Added a brief immunity period to chains after being unhooked, 3 seconds. This will prevent a survivor who was just unhooked from being chained before they can move. I do think that is a very good change. While I am a killer main and I want Pinhead to be absolutely nutty, I can see this being a very good change for survivors, because getting camped or tunneled off a hook can be very frustrating. I play Survivor too, so I'm glad that they're making Pinhead good in other ways, but not doing what they did with Trickster and just make his unhook game incredible. They also added a maximum control time for gateways, 6 seconds. So the Cenobite's power is meant to be fast-paced and used in chase, not to be placed somewhere and wait. Okay, this is technically a nerf. In the PTB, you could throw down Pinhead's gateway and literally stay there forever. Now they're adding a 6-second timer, which I'm assuming they probably changed one of his add-ons that was used the least, and it will be something that extends the time out that you can have the gateway down. They also added a brief cooldown to the solve interaction to prevent spamming, 1 second. Spamming the interaction would give the killer way too many notifications. Now, a 1 second cooldown isn't really going to do anything at all. It's not going to help the fact that it completely takes away chain hunt or anything else, so that's neither here nor there. And the last thing they did was increased blood points for the Cenobite scoring event across the board. Blood point earnings were lower than anticipated in the PTB, so basically you'll just be earning more blood points with the Cenobite, which is cool. They did say one more thing in this developer update about performance. They did say, before we sign off, we wanted to take a moment to reassure you that the team is still actively working on various performance issues affecting some platforms. Each bug needs to be investigated and fixed separately, but we are aiming to have some fixes for the remaining issues over the next few updates. The first of these fixes will appear in the 5.2.0 update, which will address hitches when using Dead Hard, powering a generator, or healing a survivor. Rest assured that we have not forgotten or moved on. Smooth performance is still a priority for us. Overall, I'm really excited for everything they talked about in this developer update. I'm really excited to get my hands on Pinhead on the 7th, and I'm even more excited to know that I'll be able to get used to this character on live without getting bullied by a 4-man survive with friends at rank 1 every other game, or every game. So I'm excited to hear all this news. I'd like to know what you guys think in the comments down below. How are you feeling about the Cenobite changes? How are you feeling about the rank changes and the skill-based matchmaking changes? Let me know in the comments down below. But that's gonna do it for me, dudes. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Tootin. I've been your host, and I'll see you dudes next time. Peace out.